So that ending, we need to talk about that ending. We need to talk about ending. 8 episodes, 8/9 episodes. We've gone thinking that Gellar was the mastermind behind all of this stuff, behind the whole DDK thing from the beginning, just kind of mentoring Travis along, teaching him the ins and outs of religious murder and setting up all of these tableaus and doing all of this stuff. And now we find his lifeless corpse frozen away in a freezer, and Travis himself just gets up from having been suddenly knocked out and possibly just prepares to fight Dexter, who he now knows has discovered the inevitable truth. He opened the trap door and then went inside, and like the only thing worthy of being discovered in that room was the freezer holding Gellar's body. So how and why and when and how did we get to this point? Because this changes pretty much everything. Like, Gellar was never alive. Who knows how long he's been dead for? He's been. I mean, this whole season. I think it's appropriate to say this whole season he's been dead. This entire season he's been dead all along, and maybe the version of Gellar that we've seen working with Travis is the one that Travis himself kind of envisions to still be alive. For one thing, that Dexter confirmed that means Travis was the one responsible for all of the killings. He's the one who actually did all of it. He killed them, and he actually executed his own specialty of actually setting them up as the tableaus from the Book of Revelations. But then that means that Travis was lying. I mean, obviously Travis was lying all along, but he was strong enough to kill those people, and he was strong enough to do all of this stuff and to take on the solo, to take on the name of the DDK, with the kind of impersonation of Gellar along with it for the Miami PD and the public to follow along with. But how? I mean, I'm trying to think about I mean, I'm kind of assuming that he is also the one who killed Gellar, maybe. Maybe could it have been switched around? Maybe Travis was the one who actually fell under the mindset of what we thought Gellar was originally. Maybe he was the one who kind of, maybe it did start off originally to the point where Travis still possibly studied under Gellar at the University of Mississippi, I think it was, or Tallahassee. I think Tallahassee. Yeah, I think the University of Tallahassee. So maybe he still studied under him and whatnot. But then they started studying their religion together, and then they came to all these different excerpts and different examples of the Book of Revelations, and then Travis himself kind of started to think too deeply into it, and he started to come to the conclusion that all these non-believers and stuff have to be removed from the earth, and all this stuff, all that yada yada yada, to taking the Book of Revelations too seriously. And then Gellar noticed this, and he tried to draw him away from it, but then Travis maybe lashed out at Gellar and maybe killed him, but then didn't want to be convicted as a murderer, so he stashed his body away, and then still in that mindset of the tableaus need to be reenacted in real life, and the world needs to prepare for the end and all that. Still in that mindset, he then used Gellar's persona to tag along with his own, and to actually have that way he would only be charged as maybe an accomplice to the murder, and he wouldn't have to take the whole weight of what was going on. Or maybe even then, maybe Gellar was his code. Maybe Gellar was his code. Maybe Gellar was the maybe he used Gellar, he recreated Gellar in his own mind. Maybe all along Gellar wasn't actually that insane. He knew about the Book of Revelations, he knew all this stuff, but maybe in reality he wasn't so insane to think, we need to prepare for the world for the end of days, and we need to kill all these people and all that stuff. Maybe that was just Travis, but maybe Travis, maybe since Gellar was the closest thing he had to a mentor, who then still was hesitant to actually be involved in any of this stuff, maybe he recreated Gellar in his mind, to be the guiding force to actually reenacting these tableaus. Maybe he needed Gellar to be like, maybe he created a version of Gellar in his mind that he needed to still be his mentor through all the stuff and to keep motivating him to push through and to actually conduct all of these killings. So he still wasn't strong enough, but Gellar was the one thing that got him through with it. So yeah, I honestly don't know. I mean, like that ending was not something I was talking about. I mean, the moment Dexter entered that room, I was thinking, oh, that little box in the background. I didn't know if it was a freezer box, but I was thinking like, oh, that little storage box in the background looks too ominous. I'm thinking maybe Gellar might try and secretly climb out of it and like attack Dexter from behind or something. But then it turned out to be so much worse. Like Gellar was indeed in that box, but just in a far more post-mortem kind of way. But god damn it, but then how would he have gone about conducting all of this stuff? And for the worst fact, that means he killed Lisa. He would have he would have killed Lisa. I mean, because this revelation means that nothing we knew about Travis was right anyway. Like Gellar was dead all along, and the only kind of logical explanation for everything else is that Travis must have done it. Like Travis was without a doubt involved in all of this, so he, at the very least, he's an accomplice. But given that Gellar's been dead all along, that means that Travis was the real mastermind behind it anyway. So he killed all those people. He set them up. Did he really? I mean, he did free that woman, but I don't know. I mean, without a doubt, there are elements of psychopathy in here. Like he has maybe it could be multiple personality disorder. Like he's like having spent so long with Gellar and having had such a close relationship with Gellar during his time at university. That means he after having lashed out at Gellar, maybe then he must have absorbed Gellar's personality. So he part of him is Gellar, part of him is Travis. So the part of him that kills is Gellar. That's when the Gellar mindset actually activates within him. And then when he needs to set things up, that's when he's Travis. But the conflict in him, that multiple personality disorder thing, that conflict between the personalities is what brings out the Trevor in him. Because Trevor, I think what he said as Trevor is actually true, that he's not strong enough to do it. He's not strong enough to kill the people. He can barely even capture them, but he's not strong enough to kill them. Gellar's much stronger than he is. That's why that would make sense. Gellar himself, he's a middle-aged man now. Like him going around capturing people, killing them, and actually running after people that's not something you can see him keeping up with, if anything. So with Travis being a man in his younger physical prime, he is someone who would have the energy and the strength and whatnot to actually try and hold someone down and kill them or do whatever. So when he actually needs to kill someone, the Gellar in him comes out and then he kills them, and then when he needs to actually set them up, then he returns back to Travis and stuff. So I think I'm calling it could be multiple personality disorder. Is that what it's called? I know there's identity disorder, and then there's also multiple personality disorder. I think multiple personality, that is a thing. Let me Google that. I'm pretty sure that's a thing. I've seen it in various places. I'm pretty sure that's a thing. Multiple personality disorder. Dissociative identity disorder. That's the one I've heard of, yeah. But multiple personality disorder is a mental illness characterized by at least two distinct and relatively enduring personality states. Okay, yeah. So I think that could be what he has. So his obsession with the Book of Revelations kind of pushed Gellar away from him, because Gellar saw the legal implications of this and how crazy murder sounded, so he refused to play along with it. So then Travis, seeing the one person he considered a mentor betray him and not be a part of his crusade, lashed out at him, killed him, but then absorbed his personality. And obviously Gellar being a professor of this stuff, he would have much more in-depth knowledge, so that way when he transforms into Gellar as well, he has that kind of know-how of what this means and what it has to look like and how the person dies and all of that stuff. So I'm thinking it's multiple personality disorder. I'm calling it as that one. But yeah, Travis lied all along. So yeah, I think that would make more sense with the Lisa thing as well. With the Lisa thing, he Gellar himself would also be looking for the Whore of Babylon. He would like that version of Gellar that Travis created would also favor religious ethics or religious like law over his apprentices, like personal matters and whatnot. And again, as we saw, Gellar was constantly trying to pull Travis over to the dark side and be like, I'll ignore your personal life. Your personal life is, meaningless compared to the end of days and whatnot. So that would have actually helped the Gellar side of him actually take down Lisa and take down all those other people. So yeah, goddamn, this is just some unpredictable crap. This is unpredictable. I mean, thinking back, it makes sense in some ways, like, especially like I mentioned, like the physical aspect of it, like a middle-aged man running around killing people is somewhat believable, somewhat unbelievable. Like with Gellar, like, he would probably save his strength for like actually like, doing like planning the next stage and the next tableau and whatnot. But like, and it makes sense, like how like a man that old is actually able to be like remain on the move and also remain like, like hidden underground as well. So yeah, but then would he know it? Like, I mean, multiple personality disorder, I mean, would that mean that you're still aware of the other personality living in you, or would there be like, or like when he transformed, like I mean, because again, it's like, I think the most the most accurate comparison would probably be like Jekyll and Hyde maybe, but like I'm wondering if when his mind turns into Gellar's, would he then kind of black out as Trevor? Like, would Trevor not know what's happening? Like if that's the case, maybe the version of Trevor that we saw, why do I keep calling him Trevor? Travis. Like maybe the version of Travis that we actually saw getting up at the end of the episode after Dexter opened up the freezer. Maybe that's actually Gellar, because like, like maybe at that point the Gellar in Travis like awakened as soon as his corpse was found, and then Gellar prepared to fight back against Dexter and to trap him in there or something. But we will see where that leads us. But damn, talk about a twist. And I think, to be honest, like there were no obvious signs that or to me anyway, there were no obvious signs that Gellar wasn't real all along. I think he like as a character, he was convincing enough to actually exist. And to actually be passed off as like an actual person, like, guiding Travis in that direction. So this definitely caught me by surprise. But there's that. But yeah, and again, I think that does definitely offer more like a more logical reasoning as to how he could go through with killing those people, and especially as to killing Lisa, because with Travis, we know he would never be able to actually go through with killing Lisa in any way. But Gellar, I think if like that side of Gellar took over his mind every time a killing needed to be done, or every time they needed to find a new victim, that would make more sense. And like Travis may still be on the inside, like fighting back and trying to gain control, or maybe that version of Travis was, maybe that version of Travis, like, since he was the one who again, within my theory, he was the one who lashed out at Gellar the first time when he refused to work with him. Maybe, maybe he's the one who he lets Gellar take over his body. Like that side of him, that killer instinct in him that he's modeled after Gellar. And then when he needs to actually set up the tableau and continue the work, then he goes back into Travis's body. But I mean, Travis himself, the way he's been going so far, he's been completely against it. So again, that doesn't fully add up. So I don't know, but I mean, the basic gist of my theory right now is that it's MPP, for MPD, multiple personality disorder, MPD, and that he did originally kind of go to Gellar to try and recruit him into this crusade of actually doing all this stuff, and then Gellar said no, and then Travis lashed out and accidentally maybe killed him, but then kind of kept his body around to avoid it being found, but also by doing that, he also absorbed Gellar's like identity and like identity into his own, and then modeled it after what he hoped Gellar would be, having said yes to joining Travis, and used that as like a kind of moral, like a guiding compass and whatnot. So yeah, that's that. That's that one. And what else? So much to talk about. Matthews, I guess. Matthews killed the hooker. Like he was the one who he was the one who ended up actually, killing the hooker. He did the CPR. Like he was the one who did the CPR on the hooker, and then he ended up crushing her sternum. I had feelings. I had an idea that LaGuerta and Matthews were actually like that they were in some kind of deeper undercover kind of thing together. Like I mean, the season itself started off with her blackmailing him with like a black book or something of like names and whatnot, and then yeah, so those two, I have no idea what's going on. I mean, I don't know if there's like also like a romance building or something, but I mean, I can't imagine that. I can't imagine there would be maybe like a love-hate relationship. Like they're working together to keep each other safe and whatnot, but they also still hate each other. But I don't know. I do not know like where that's leading. But she is covering for Matthews, and now they know that now that Deborah said like she desperately wants to reopen that girl's case, and Maria knows that puts Matthews in more danger of being found out. So now they are both making a plan to stop her. So I have no idea what that entails. I mean, Deborah did say like if she wants to stop Deborah, if Maria wants to stop Deborah from opening this case, then she's gonna have to fire her. And knowing Maria, that is not a chance that she will hesitate to take. I mean, truth be told, I think she was less than happy about Deborah getting the lieutenant role in the first. But is she in the lieutenant role? I keep forgetting what like job she now. I think, yeah, it is lieutenant. I think captain. I think Maria is probably captain, right? I think Maria is captain. Yeah, I think Deborah is lieutenant because I'm pretty sure it says lieutenant on her doors. I keep forgetting like which one's actually lieutenant, which one's captain. I think captain is the overall still like overseer and whatnot, but she is the lieutenant of that branch of Miami PD. But yeah, like her getting the role of lieutenant, like Maria was less than happy about that. Due to wanting Batista to be up for that role. So ever since pretty much this entire season, she has been hoping to kind of knock Deborah down one or two pegs, and actually making her job significantly harder, and claiming that it's what the job's like anyway, like actually taking on multiple cases and solving each one and handling press and all of that stuff, like not knowing that Deborah is, like she was more comfortable working as a detective, and she was more comfortable working within that sector, but she was happy to go up to this role. But she's not really used to the gravity the whole situation brings, and what Marie is doing is just pushing that gravity down on her and making her job harder than it needs to be, and claiming, oh, it's what the job's like anyway, so you're gonna have to get used to it, to try and dissuade her from carrying on with the role. But as we know, Debbie is a strong woman. She's a strong detective, and she's worked her way up here. So I think that's especially a good reason that she has therapy as well. I think that is a very, very good reason that she's actually getting therapy, because then she gets to talk about like literally everything that is on her mind, which she basically does. But yeah, how they're gonna stop her, I have no idea. I mean, I don't think they'd go so far as killing. Like that is something neither of them would be able to cover up. Like from my perspective, that isn't something that neither of them would be able to cover up. But yeah, I don't think killing her is on the books. Maybe framing her. Well, they wouldn't be able to frame her, but maybe pushing her away from the case, or like somehow like removing the case from her plate, like just somehow taking her off it. Like maybe firing her. Like Maria might see what else she can do, and then use firing her as a last resort. But we will see. We will see where that takes us and what this whole thing going on is going on between Maria and Matthews. But yeah, that one's that. But yeah, Deb's therapy. So it's going fairly well. I think she is talking about like a lot of what's troubling her, and I think this episode, I think they took a good they took a good chance to actually shine a light into her past. Particularly her romantic past, and I think like they kind of uncovered that, you know, given like her father's absence in her life, like it's funny, he was present, but he was still kind of absent in the sense that he didn't really spend much time with her, and because of that kind of absence in her life, she's often gone for men who are inappropriate in some way. You know, like with Rudy Cooper, he turned out to be a serial killer called the Eye Struck Killer, and he was Dexter's biological brother, which she found out years later. And then I think after that it was it was Lundy, right? I think did Lundy come after that? I think so. No. Lundy. Did Lundy come after that? I think. No. I think Lundy came after that. Yeah, I'm thinking of his time during the Trinity Killer phase, the Trinity Killer series. But Lundy did come after that, and then he was like, he was old enough to be her father. He was like twice, maybe thrice her age. And she loved him anyway. So I think like that the most logical reasoning there is that, you know, given her the absence of a father figure in her life, she, you know, like she was attracted to someone who very well could be her father, like looking for that kind of mentoring and guidance. But then her being at that age and at that kind of level of like mental and physical maturity, she was also looking for love. So she happened to fall for Lundy, and then that went sideways, and then we had Mr. Anton Briggs after that, the CI. Is it CI? Confidential Info? Yeah, I think it's CI. Yeah. That which also was her inadvertent, like unknowingly following in her father's footsteps, because obviously Harry was having an affair with was it an affair? I think it might have been an affair, because I'm pretty sure that Deb's mother was alive then. Pretty sure. I can't remember if she was alive then, but I think so. But I think in any way, it was still a romance. It was still like a romantic pursuit with Dexter's mother, with Laura Moser, and she was a CI, telling him about her like boyfriend at the time or something. He was like a drug dealer and stuff, and so he was with her, and then unknowingly, Deb followed in those footsteps and then fell in love with Anton. Then that happened, and then she broke up with Anton after Lundy came back into the picture, and then she revealed that she slept with Lundy after that. So yeah, that was that. And then who after that? I think there was that guy who was like a fling. I think like a few episode fling, like the guy who wrote children's books and whatnot. And like he was writing something about a Snow Queen, but then when Deb saw his emails, she mistook it for her, like for him writing about her being the Ice Struck Killer's fiance and whatnot. But he was really just like a children's book writer. So that was him. Then who was there? I don't know. I can't. These are the ones I significantly kind of remember. But yeah, I think in recent time, I think after that was probably, who would it have been? I think probably just Quinn. Yeah, because I think with the Quinn thing, it started off with them just being partners within the workplace, like as in like them actually working together and actually being friends and whatnot and getting to know each other. So with that one, it at least started with a friendship, alongside a working partnership, and then they evolved into bedmates and whatnot. Which even then, like he slept with her at like Dexter's old house while she was sobbing uncontrollably, and then it moved on to more sex and all of that stuff. So her past has been riddled with some rather kind of like in the long term unsuccessful kind of romances, and like just frankly inappropriate romances. I mean, and the Anton one, like the only like comparison, that the only like similarity it had was that it was pretty much like when Harry met Laura and actually, got romantic with her, and she was his CI as well. So that was that one. But then the other one, like Rudy, like he just turned out to be a serial killer, and then Lundy, he turned out he was older than her, and yeah, so all of this stuff, I think her therapist did say that, like this stuff could all just be like a result of her having like an absent father figure in her life. So as she grew up, she wanted that more and more as she grew up, and then once she reached the age of like being able to date other people and date other men, she subconsciously kind of looked for that inner man, like something she was missing and something she never had growing up. So that kind of screwed over with her, and then with Dexter, it's just been like she's like I think we did see a flashback when we were younger, like when we were younger, but when they were younger, of how like Deborah like kind of scolded Dexter and snapped at Dexter, saying that like he wasn't really part of the family and all of that stuff, all because she was angry that he was taking up all of her spotlight with her dad, like her father was spending more time with him than with her, and she kind of felt the brunt of that growing up, and she lacked any of that kind of love growing up, and I mean, she doesn't know the truth behind why that Dexter had these murderous tendencies, and her father was trying to keep it somewhat controllable. But yeah, like that. I think Deb having therapy is something that's long overdue, and like seeing all of this come out into the light, it's good to see her processing it and acknowledging it, as she should be able to within therapy, and then like seeing what's actually wrong and what's actually wrong with her past and what's going on now. So yeah, seeing her go through therapy is like an interesting like kind of thing, like just picking apart details of her past and then seeing like how it's actually led her to this point today. So yeah, that was a good part of the episode. We had Lewis. How do I explain Lewis? I mean, well, he patched things up with Jamie. He brought her to his place, and he has a nice enough place. And explained to her the whole like Batista thing, and I think that was the good route to go down. Like he didn't start blaming Batista. He didn't start like kind of like vilifying Batista, saying, "Oh, your brother said all these mean things to me, and he told me to back off or he'd kill me or something." But he did be honest about it in like a peaceful way. He did say like you'll be your brother, who by the way does have a pretty big gun that kind of scared me shitless the other day. But he told me just to kind of to kind of give you some space. So that's what I was doing. He was obvious about how he felt about her, but also what he'd been told, and making his stand in that regard. But I think with Jamie, I think again, like Jamie did show that like her decision on who she dates is just as important as her brother's, and it's who she's gonna be with for however long. So they did patch things up, and especially in bed. But then the camera zoomed out. The camera zoomed out and showed us one of his little shelving units, and inside said shelving unit is the damn ice truck killer arm. The not even frozen, just the actual ice truck killer arm with the thing. And I was thinking because when I saw it, I was like, wait, is the hand from Travis's sink here all of a sudden? And then it just showed like the full on arm, and I was like, oh, that's an arm. Oh, those are painted fingernails. Holy crap, that's the ice truck killer arm. So, I mean, is everyone lying in this season? Like, first Travis is lying, then now Lewis is lying. Like, what's actually going on here? Because I think he said he couldn't find the arm. Well, he told Masuka he couldn't find the arm, but he did remove any trace of that sale that Erin originally put up, ever having been on the internet. So he removed any sign of anyone being able to see that some evidence from the police department is up for sale. Like, he removed that stuff, but then so he was lying there. So he likely he either found the arm or he bought the arm, either one of those two. But then to hide the fact that he got the arm, he removed any trace of it from the internet. So he's a sneaky son of a biscuit for sure, but why does he have the arm though? Like, what use could he have for it? I mean, or unless it's just one of those things he wants to collect. But even then, that's really, I mean, that's like an actual decaying human arm, like a dead person's arm, I mean, at some point that thing's gonna smell as well because it's not even frozen anymore. It's just out in the open air, like at room temperature, uncovered with anything. It's just like, let me go look back at that. Let me look back at that. Like that's literally just an uncovered arm. That's yeah, that's like that's completely uncovered. I think. I mean, obviously, it's a fake. It's a prosthetic of some sort. Like speaking in terms of actual, props and whatnot. But I mean, still in the fiction of the show itself, it still looks real enough. And he's just got it on a stand, all nicely, neatly laid out. And a good thing for him, that thing's not facing inside the room. Like unless someone actually goes back, like behind the shelving unit, they can't even see it. But yeah, that's got the fingernails and the paint and everything. So, like, why does he have this? Again, it's still. I mean, I can't tell if it's actually behind any kind of glass. I can't tell if it's actually behind any kind of glass. Yeah, from what I can tell, that's not behind any glass, so that's still kind of breathing in open air and whatnot. So, again, that's at room temperature. It's just gonna decay at room temperature. The smell's gonna spread. It's gonna become evident that something died in there at some point, and someone's gonna find it, or unless he decides to freshen it up every once a day or something in some way. But why does he have this thing? Like I mean, I know he's a collector, but this is a gross thing to collect, like a dead person's arm. That's a pretty damn weird thing to collect. So I don't know what he intends on doing with this. I have no idea. Considering it was kept in like one of those Ziploc bags that are like airtight, that explains how it still looks so fresh. Now, honestly, even if he did get it as soon as he told Masuka he shut down the site and shut down the sale, there's no like telling when he actually got it, like if he actually got it in that episode or if he got it like a few days later or something. But either way, like you can tell that thing was only opened from the bag like a short while ago, so it's still fresh enough. But God, I don't know what Lewis is playing at here. I don't know what he could want with a dead human arm, but it's not even a case of you do you. It's not even a case of he does what he wants and all that stuff. Like, he's literally keeping a dead human arm, a decaying piece of human flesh and skin and bone and fingernails in his apartment in a shelving unit, hidden away from general lines of sight. Like unless someone actually wanted to go behind that shelving unit, they couldn't find it. So he's clearly hiding something. So I don't know what he wants with that arm, but it's a good thing he never showed or told. I mean, chances are he won't tell anyone he has it, but I feel like at some point someone is going to find it, and then he's going to be in even more trouble than Eren is. I mean, Masuka just fired Eren. He let Eren off scot-free. Like, he told her to leave and never come back. So he dropped her from the job and then hired Lewis, given his background in IT, to actually sort out the history of the sale and whatnot. So yeah, but what he does with it, we do not know, and I'm honestly kind of scared to think about what he might do with it. But either way, he has the ice killer arm. I don't know what else to say about that. But yeah, this is something I really kind of wanted to talk about, and it was about that conversation that Dexter had with Ghost Harry right as he was preparing the kill room for Gellar, and as he was discussing Travis. Like he said, Travis is like the difference between Dexter's Dark Passenger and Travis's Dark Passenger is that Dexter was born with his Dark Passenger. Like, for the most part, he was born with it, and he's lived his whole life with it, and it's not something that he can like see going away anytime soon. Whereas Travis's Dark Passenger was recently acquired. I mean, obviously this was before the whole Gellar's dead body revelation, but at the same time, like at that point in time, like in his perspective, Travis's Dark Passenger was something that was recently acquired, and he had never killed before. Even when working with Gellar, he had never killed anyone. He had never killed any of those people. He never killed his own sister. He never did any of the killing. He claimed he wasn't strong enough for that. So now all of a sudden he wants to kill someone, and mainly out of vengeance. He wasn't even considering killing Gellar until he had actually found out that Lisa had been turned into the Whore of Babylon tableau. So at that point he was ready to go all out war on Gellar, and he wasn't prepared for that at all. He was thinking angrily, he was thinking vengefully, he wasn't in control of his emotions or his anger. So him having that kind of a Dark Passenger is a very risky thing, and it's a very kind of new thing that he needs to learn how to control and how to use efficiently. So but it's also the kind of thing where like Travis is not someone who would do well with a Dark Passenger. He's not a killer. He's just a normal guy who wants to live a normal life. So him with a Dark Passenger is just like like a baby with a bomb, like a baby with bombs to use and stuff like that. So like it's not going to do him any good. He's not going to use it after this. So the sooner he helps him kill Gellar, and the sooner he rids him of it, the sooner he can move on. I think Dexter kind of saw that with Lumen. Like with Lumen, she had she had trauma done to her that birthed her Dark Passenger, but then with Lumen, it wasn't even a case of he wasn't trying to get rid of her Dark Passenger, but it's just what happened. Like he saw that after he had killed all the guys who were responsible for her trauma, her Dark Passenger was gone. Like everyone who ever wronged her was already dead and missing. So there was no reason for her to remain angry anymore. There was no reason for her to want to kill anyone else. So her Dark Passenger left after that. But with Travis, he's not someone who needs one. He's not someone who needs to have one. Like him having one puts him in more danger than anything else. So the sooner he gets rid of Travis's Dark Passenger, the sooner he can actually get him onto a new life and a second life, like a clean slate. Which also kind of brought him onto the realization that he wants to be that kind of person for Harrison as well. Like as Harrison grows up, he does not want. I think what his thing is that as Harrison grows up, he doesn't want to have to carry on this whole kind of legacy of killing. Whilst Harrison is in his life, he wants to once this stuff is all done, he wants to eventually reach a point where he's able to raise Dexter as a normal man, as a good man, and all that sort of stuff. I mean, he said it's too late for him to become a better person, but I mean, he's helping people by killing criminals and whatnot, so, but at the end of the day, he does still want to allow Harrison to have a normal life. He wants to keep him away from this stuff as much as humanly possible, but for that to happen, he wants to know if it's even possible for him to actually approach that life as well, like for him to actually give up the blade for once and actually give up the sheets and the hacking and the body dumping and whatnot. Like he wants to know, I mean, realistically speaking, if he wants his son to have a normal life, he's gonna need to have a normal life himself. If he doesn't know what that's like, he can't expect to build that up for Harrison efficiently. So, I'm thinking maybe that means that Dexter eventually wants to retire. If he eventually actually wants to move on from all of this and actually find something more stable and actually find something more, find something where he doesn't have to worry about getting caught for anything, for doing anything wrong, and like one where he actually doesn't have to worry about anything pretty much, and he can actually just live a normal life and, fight for the one thing that Harry never told him he could have either. Like Harry always told him, you can have family as a cover, but you can never feel that kind of love. You can never have that, properly or anything like that. So like him eventually meeting someone, eventually getting married, having a family and having a son now, it's it's something that he was told was never possible. So now the last kind of milestone with that is to actually have a proper life, like a non-murderous life, one where his Dark Passenger is more under control, because realistically it's never going to disappear, but if he can actually get his Dark Passenger under more control, he can potentially drop it. He can drop the life itself, whilst his Dark Passenger just sits carrying away in a corner of his soul and just stays dormant for however long. So I think him actually helping Travis is a way to see if he can actually control his own and see if like that kind of normal life is even possible. Because it should be possible for someone who had that in the first place, like Travis anyway. But for him, it is more of a case of like just seeing if he can actually drop that thing, like even in the smallest of ways, really. So that is pretty much that. I mean, Dexter just seeing if he can get a clean slate at life itself, like whilst like knowing everything that's already happened to him, whilst acknowledging everything that's already happened to him and everything he has inside him right now, just seeing if he can actually restart from a new point in time and actually, you know, have another shot. Like, so, you know, like he can be the father to Harrison that Harry never was to him. Like, Harry was more of like a mentor than a father than anything else. Like he raised Dexter as a cop, as an actual police officer, knowing the ins and outs of the law and using that to nurture Dexter's dark passenger. But Harrison, he has no dark passenger, and Dexter would very much like to keep it that way and actually encourage him and mentor him into a normal life. And like seeing how he's grown up already, Harrison's already doing great, so Dexter wants to maintain that. But if he keeps going out at night and doing all of this stuff, then like the chances of that being able to be kept up are very, very low. So we will see if Dexter's clean slate protocol will actually come into play at any point, or if it's even possible. We'll see. That's that. What else? The bowls of wrath thing was pretty gross. Pretty gross. Like bowls of blood. Like, I mean, that explains why Travis bled him out, because we know Travis himself was likely was responsible for that whole thing. Like Gellar probably activated inside his mind, knocked out Casey, took him to wherever, and then came back for Dexter as Travis. So yeah, but the bowls of blood thing, that was pretty gross. Not gonna lie, I mean, I saw Dexter looking up at the thing, and I was like, okay, those are lights. Those are the little kind of like frames that hold the lights. But then there's those little bronze circles that look kind of like baskets or bowls or something. So I was like, wait, this has to be a trap. This has to be rigged. And then Dexter slowly came to that realization. So there is blood, no tripwire, but just like I think Masuka moved his arm or something, or like triggered something inside Casey's own body, and then that kind of flipped the bowls and dropped the blood on all of them, and they were all very rightfully horrified. Deborah especially, they were all very rightfully horrified at having a dead guy's blood dunked on them. So that was horrifying. That was very, very horrifying. But yeah, so he was an atheist, so like even non-believers, like not just sinners in the eyes of God, but also non-believers apparently get killed as well. So yeah, Gellar in Travis's mind is still just as bad as an actual living murderous Gellar would have been. So that's that. We had the kind of stupidity between Quinn and Batista. Quinn having slept with a hooker's mother instead, being that drunk, and then leaving his phone and his car in her, his phone and his gun in her car. Like Quinn is just a human mess at this point. He's just an absolute mess. Like being so hungover that he sleeps with a hooker's mother, and then leaving his weapon in her car, and then going home anyway, and then just passing out on his kitchen floor, and then also deciding to just antagonize Batista over his over his failed love lives. Like first his wife who left him, and then his second wife who was only his wife for a few months, Laguerta. And then all of this stuff happens, and then he says he's about to lose his daughter as well. Like with each sentence he spews out of his ass, with each sentence he just pisses off Batista more and more, and then he just risks being punched out of, and they both just start rolling around on the floor and just punching each other out. And then the woman being like, oh, if you don't stop now, I'm gonna call the police. I mean, surely she must have surely she must have noticed like one of them was at least like an actual legitimate police officer, or maybe she thought that like since Batista was bent over the hood of his car, maybe she thought that Quinn was the one who was a police officer. So then she was like, oh, I'll call for backup for that police officer. But either way, she tried to call for the police. So Quinn, I mean, he legitimately is just a mess at this point. I have no idea how else to describe him. Like he tries to propose to Deb. that goes wrong, so then he immediately goes to lashing out because she didn't say yes, and then further tormenting her, being like, oh, like all this difficult stuff happening in your life must be so tough, like someone saying no to your marriage proposal, and then further just kind of like antagonizing her, and then just doing all sorts of shit I just don't have the energy to go into right now. But either way, like this season, Quinn's just a mess. He's just an absolute mess. So I'm hoping at least by the end of the season, or at least by the next season, he does move into something a lot more mature and actually starts acting his fucking age for once. Instead of trying to like, you know, instead of lashing out at people saying no to him, or even like trying to antagonize other people just because he's like just fucking up all the time. I don't know, like just talking about Quinn makes me tired as all hell, but still, he's just a mess. He's an absolute mess of a human being, and I'm hoping that they can actually wise him up at some point, size him up. But yeah, that is pretty much all I have from this particular episode. I think Dexter wanting a clean slate is something I'm actually interested to see how they pull off, and seeing if that's something like that is possible for him. Seeing if the life of killing is something he can actually pull off and something he can actually execute properly, like seeing if a life of no killing is something that's possible for someone with a dark passenger as big and as impactful and as controlling as his one is, as tormented as his dark passenger is, like seeing if a clean slate is something possible for someone like him. Interested to see how that actually gets kicked off, and also how he moves forward with this whole Gellar being dead all along thing, and the Travis being the real DDK, and the only DDK really. So seeing how that stuff gets pulled off. My theory again, multiple personality disorder, and Travis killed Gellar after he said no to his crusade. But we'll see how well that theory gets proven and what goes on from there. But yeah, that is pretty much all I have from this one, I think. Is there anything else? Not really? Not really, no. But yeah, that is pretty much it. So that was Dexter, Season 6, Episode 9, titled Get Gellar. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn that like button. Comment on what you thought of the episode and what you think is coming up next in this season and how everything's going to move forward. And yeah, that's it. So, I will see you guys next time.